good morning, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There is going to be a recorded clip of this, or a live clip, or whichever. I need a haircut. You get to see for yourself. Like right now, if you jump on TikTok, you're watching us live. If you get on YouTube later, or even Facebook later, you will be able to see this recording there as well. All right, I'm just moving this around just a hair. I still want to see right there, all the way up to here, right there, to right there, so that we can see any cat ball activity that happens behind us. And I hope we get to see some up there. They've been letting me down a little bit. So Maribel, Diego, and the Dybbuk box, get to it. Let's go. All right. So before we get into a whole lot of the discussion that we're going to have today, and we're going to let a few people hopefully show up. Roy might not make it because he decided to lay down right before the show to go to sleep, and I called him like he asked me to do, and lo and behold, he didn't pick up. So either he's truly dead to the world, or he doesn't have his phone on very loud. Um, Whichever. I did my part. I called him. He didn't pick up. He didn't answer. So, I can only do so much. I can't continuously keep calling and calling and calling. So, Roy, I tried. You shouldn't have laid down. All right. So, before we get any further into the show, as we all know, we lost a legend and icon in Chuck Norris yesterday. I think it was yesterday, yeah. So he passed on yesterday, the legend. And as many people said, he didn't pass on. He just took death back home. Which all the Chuck Norris memes all throughout the years, the quotes and things, all that has been uh, humorous throughout the years. So there you go. Also, if you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer back in, good morning, Mr. Roy. You did wake up. All right. We lost Nicholas Brendan as well yesterday. Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a bunch of other movies. So he did pass away yesterday as well. He was my age, 54 years old. They said he passed away in his sleep. Um, so that was kind of, two for one special, if you will, yesterday. Chuck Norris and Nicholas Brendan both passed yesterday. Um, so that's the two losses that we have. I mean, there's been a bunch of losses in 2026 so far. When it comes to celebrities, again, I really don't care, and you can come at me if you want to. I condolences to the family and to their legacy and stuff like that. But they did not contribute to my life, meaning they didn't put money in my pocket. They didn't contact me on a regular basis and things like that. So any celebrity that passes away, yeah, it's a sad day, but I don't go off the rails and boohoo cry and all that stuff whenever somebody does. Just like these two icons behind me. Chester, yesterday was the anniversary of his passing. Um, of course, we'll be coming up on the anniversary of Ozzy's passing as well. Uh, and I didn't boohoo or cry whenever they passed, like many, many people did, um, because they weren't family. Yes, some celebrities and artists, as far as musicians and things like that, feel like family because we've watched them grow up. As we've grown up, we've watched their careers. And we listen to their music, or we watch them on TV and watch their careers on movie screens and things like that. But you know, they still aren't immediate family. They didn't contribute to your life other than entertainment value and purposes. So don't get it confused, as many many people do. And we're going to be talking about how to social media today. I am from Oklahoma, just like Chuck Norris was from Oklahoma. Chuck Norris was from Ryan, Oklahoma. I was from Bethany, Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma City area. And this explains it just like here in Arkansas as well. And I appreciate you trying to hang as long as possible. Um, but Monday, March 16th, as opposed to Friday, March 20th, this is what it looked like in Oklahoma on those 2 days, on just days apart, you know. Me being from Oklahoma, this is, relevant, and I'm still very close to Oklahoma, which is just a rock's throw across the border right there. Still my home, still my alma mater, if you will. I didn't go to college. Well, I did go to college there, but it wasn't there. I went to University of Phoenix for a short bit. Um, so I do have my cat ball set up. I'm going to be showing some different artworks and things like that as well. And then we'll get into the topic of how to social media. Um, because you see it all the time. People sometimes just don't seem to know how to social media. And, it's taken me years of trial and error to social media myself. Because sometimes I can't keep my mouth shut on certain topics. But I've learned as a business owner, you have to keep your mouth shut on certain topics because you can alienate 50% of your client base, by the things that you say or post online. So we'll get into that in a moment. So yesterday we were out and about. We put some tires on the girlfriend's car because we just got the tie rods replaced, which we've got to jack her car up today to figure out why it's popping on the tie rod area whenever she puts on her brake or does a turn. So we got to figure out if we didn't get something tight enough or, something in there. So we're going to look at that again today whenever the sun comes up and it's 100 degrees outside. I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be today. Wrong one. I got paint everywhere. As in tubes of paint, not like paint everywhere. Because right now it is a blistering. Oh, it is still 62 degrees outside, and it was 90 degrees yesterday here. I don't know what the official temperature was because I didn't check into that. Out and about, came across a pretty cool character from the Masters of the Universe series. I am into action figures. If you didn't know, all that hallway is nothing but action figures, especially the McFarlane line of toys. Um, Everything from 90% of that wall is DC Universe right there. Batman related type product, such as Batman, Robin, Joker, Batgirl, all that good stuff. No, we were at 90 yesterday. Guarantee it. So not so it couldn't be the first time. So, but 90% of that wall is nothing but Batman related merchandise. And of course, there's more right here as well. One on the ground that fell off the peg over here. So the 1960s Batman, and then the bullseye Batman right there, all that good stuff. So that is the I'm into collecting when it comes to action figures. So this one was really cool. Scareglow. I've seen this one go all over the place from the original price that it was bought for to be upwards of close to $70 for this action figure. So once I saw it on the shelf, I couldn't pass it up. I had to grab it up. Very cool character though. It is the ghost of Skeletor is what it is. So Scareglow is the ghost of Skeletor right there. This is a really good package. Really, really nice, almost mint. You can never get a mint package when it comes to toys, for the most part. Even especially if you're into Hot Wheels and things like that. Um, just because of the handling and how they dump them in the box and shit like that. So, all right. So we're gonna show you some artwork now. Yep, Masters of the Universe. All right. So this one, as we all know and have seen, this is my Emma Frost cover on Uncanny X-Men. It is going to be a painted canvas or painted acrylic cover with the mixture of inks and um, marker and color pencil with her as well. Just like I'm doing on this commission right here, the acrylics and things like that I'm working on with it right here, giving it that dimension, that depth. Yep, He-Man and She-Ra. And don't forget Orko and Man-at-Arms and Teela. But this is the Jared Leto Joker, where he's holding the golden AK with all of his gold chains. And they say he's got a gold grill, but every picture I find, it's a silver grill. So correct me if I'm wrong, but he's got a silver grill. Or it's not grill, it's caps. The teeth are caps. You know? What others covered? So I'm a little confused because I did look it up on Google, and it told me that it was a gold grill in his mouth. But it's not, and it's not technically a grill because it's just caps on his teeth. On his lower teeth are here, and his upper teeth are here. So, but it all shows me that they're silver. They're not gold. So I'm a little confused on that part right now. Oh, the other characters you didn't mention? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can mention them all because I had them all as a kid. I had the entire toy line. I wish I still had it today because those are some of the more sought after toys of the now. And just like the original Star Wars, the original GI Joes, all that I had. You know, I had the first editions. I didn't have all the extras, all the second editions and stuff like that. I mean, I did have the different variations of the characters like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Duke and Scarlet and all those, but I had all the originals with all their weaponry and all that good stuff. But I was an idiot and sold it all off at a comic book convention back in the 90s because I was tired of moving this huge box around from place to place when I moved. So, all right. So, I was just informed by Mr. Patrick Hickey Jr., who owns Legacy Comics, right down here. Legacy Comics, right there. Legacy Comics. That the new books are coming in today. The Condry, Man's Best Friend, is coming in today. This is my cover, my painted cover that I did for the job, which is think Point Break meets wrestling. Point Break meets wrestling because it's got a couple that rob Spanx together and all that good stuff. In this comic book. And again, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Um, and so this was a cool painted cover that I did for them. And so now that I know that the new books are coming in and he should have them in today, he's going to autograph my comps and then he's going to send them to me within post haste, probably on, sometime next week. And I can't wait to get those in hand because I did the entire book, start to finish, front cover to back cover. Well, front covers, 2 plus the interiors. So I can't wait for that to come in. Hopefully it looks really good because the inks and the stuff like that in the pages and stuff like that looks really good as well. So looking forward to that one. So that will be my second book for Legacy Comics that I did completely instead of just doing a cover for. Just like I did the cover for Psycho Sal number 3 for William Russell right here. Boom, boom, boom. 2 FBI agents chasing down a serial killer. And yes, I'm just going to use the real words. I'm not going to sugarcoat the words anymore. Because if you're going to restrict me, you're going to restrict me anyway. And so this is 2 FBI agents chasing down a serial killer in the 1980s New Orleans. And so I did it in a homage to the X-Files. You know, Mulder and Scully, two FBI agents, a male and a female, just like he has in his book. Two FBI agents, a male and a female. And so, you know, there you go. That's my cover. And they're inside of a voodoo shop with the little clue that was left by Psycho Sal. Right there. So it is a horror comic book. If you're interested in finding it, you can go to William Russell's page and get the rest of those. There are 9 books complete in this. The series is done. He's working. He's got the graphic novel Kickstarter. It's either finished or still up. I'm not 100% sure. But there you go on that note. All right. So now you see the 2 newest comic book covers that are out there. And we've already talked about the passing of the 2 icons that went on before us yesterday. Now we're going to get into, you know, some of them, not my artwork, but other people's artwork that I need to get framed. We've already talked about some of this. I really need to get this one framed before anything befalls it. My Ken Hunt Death Dealer warm-up sketch that he did one day, and I purchased from him because I thought it was so cool. And it is cool. It's super cool. It's very awesome. Just to see, you know, how they create on certain aspects. And Ken Hunt is just a cool dude when it comes to his stuff. I've got 3 pieces of his already on the wall. This is piece number 4 that will be on the wall. I can't wait to get it hung, and I've had it for a little while. For 2 years, apparently, because this is 2024 is what he put on here. So I've had it for 2 years, and I haven't put it on the wall yet. And then I've got to get my Dan Fraga up on the wall to go with my other ones that I got back in the 90s whenever I went to conventions and stuff was free. Free stuff. You know, that was cool. And then, of course, the Donald Hash. We talked about all these. The Brad W. Foster. Got to get his up on the wall. Bill Williams. I couldn't tell you who did the Starman piece. I'd have to go look it up. Kerry Gamil and Greg Adams. That's a good one. This is a print of Starfire and Nightwing by those 2 that autographed it. And then number 77 of 400 in the Max Damage prints. Robert Ledoux, 1996 at DEF CON. Right there. Which I've got an original Max Damage up there. Robert Ledoux. So not only do I have the print, I've got an original drawing that he did up there. And it was free. You know, that's when things were cool. Now, I have noticed that certain artists do a really cool thing because there's a person going to MegaCon. It's a big deal when it comes to comic book conventions and things like that. And they were doing a list of what different artists charge because they were going to get stuff done by these specific artists, getting books signed or prints done and things like that, print signed. And so some of them do a really cool thing where the first 5 items are free. Anything after that costs something. And that's a really good deal because most artists now, especially if they think they're a huge deal, which most of them are. Let's just be real, because they've been in the comic book industry for a very long time. They've created many of covers, drawn many of interiors, and so on and so forth. But you get some that are charging anywhere between $20 and $30 a shot for a single autograph. And that's pricey because, like, I took 27 books one time to the Space Con with us that I was going to have signed by Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. Iron Man number 55, first Thanos appearance. And so I had, and Warlock, he created Warlock. So I had to pick and choose which ones I wanted to spend the money on. you know. So of course, Iron Man 55 was one of the ones that I had autographed, and so I had to pick and choose. I only did five because that was $100, and that was part of my profit of me going there to the show. And so, as an artist, see, I don't even charge for my signature when I'm at a comic book convention. You're buying the print or the original, you get the autograph for free. And I'll even throw in my certificate of authenticity, which is my silver sticker now, to go on everything. And so it's just like, I just can't understand why you want to charge so much for your autograph whenever you could lower your price and get more volume. Oh, I was wondering what that was. It was one of the cats. I'm like, what the fuck does that sound? All right. So lower your price, get more volume of people. And I mean, I get, your shit doesn't stink because you're at that age of, well, I'm been doing this for a long time and I can charge what I want to charge. And you really can, you know. But I like the ones that charge the $10 or the $5 per piece, or like the ones that they were showing. There was about five different artists that they showed on their list, as they were going to go to MegaCon, which is going on this week, or this weekend. And I think it's in Florida, I believe is where it's at. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. I didn't look it up. But anyway, they had at least a list of about 10 people so far, and they were trying to get more. I don't know if they completed their list or not, but they showed about five or six that had, the first five or so was free to get autographed. But anything after that was going to be like $5 an item after that, which is very reasonable at $5 a spot. So just think, you're charging $5 a shot. Somebody brings in 20 items. The first five are free, so you're signing the next 15 at $5 a shot. You're still making your money, you know. And then whatever prints they buy or merchandise that they buy from you at your table, you're just making the money, you know. So instead of charging $20 a shot for your autograph, which is going to limit some people that only brought X amount of money, and that's all they allotted for this trip, after buying their tickets, after their travel to the show, just to get into the show and things like that. And then the food inside the show. It's expensive because I know there was, let's just take the Fort Smith Comic Con that happens. And Chelsea, I'm not knocking your show because I love it and I miss being there. But there was a family of five that came in, and they had kids, the two adult parents, and so you've got three kids, two adults, and they spent like $100 on tickets, which they should have got a discounted rate for bringing kids in with them. Um, and I think kids tickets should be free. That's just me. Charge your adults their ticket prices and don't charge kids, unless they're 17, 18 years old, you know, and go from there. Um, but that's just me. As you see, I don't run a comic book convention because if I did, a lot of things would be changed. Booth prices would be changed. I wouldn't be charging $400 and $800 for a single booth. You know, I would be like Santiago Cirillo in Paragould, Arkansas, where the booth rentals were at $100. I know they went up a little bit, as because they're on their fourth show for the um, High On Nation uh, Scared City production horror show is what it is, and very cool show. Bring in some cool guests. They brought in Michael Myers. They brought in Texas Chainsaw Massacre actors. They brought in um, Jason Voorhees actors. I mean, the list goes on and on of the people they brought in. Rick Prince, a very cool special effects guy, works with Santiago Cirillo on all of his um, shows for prosthetics and all the cool stuff out there. And it's just very cool stuff. And again, I've missed going to that one too. Not very lucrative for me, even though I've got a lot of horror merchandise. Um, but it just wasn't lucrative because yes, the booth rental was awesome, $100, and everybody's there to see the actors for that show, and then they do mill around, walk around, and look at everything else. I roughly broke even. I was a little under breaking even, if you will, especially for the hotel room and because it's a 3 hour, almost 4 hour trip up to Paragould, Arkansas from here. Because you're almost in another state in retrospect to it all. And and so, it's some shows just aren't lucrative. Bastrop, Texas wasn't lucrative at the Cult Classic. Wasn't lucrative, even though I had what people were looking for at that show. But luckily, I'm changing things up. I am doing more different type of works than I normally would do because adding backgrounds into a piece or instead of like this piece. It's a great piece. It's bedazzled. It's her dress. Yes, those are real rhinestones on her outfit, on her earrings, and on her negligee, if you will. Um, but there's no background. It's just a white background, plain background. That's the stuff I'm going to be changing whenever it comes to my artwork because having no background is cool, and I see a lot of artists that do that. Jay Lee is one of the biggest proponents for that in the Marvel universe or DC universe. I saw one of his latest Batman covers that had Two Face on it, and Batman's in like this dentist chair, and Two Face is flipping his coin. Has a mirror behind Two Face, so you're seeing the other side of his face as well. Um, and Batman is tethered to this dentist chair, and you see the pliers in Two Face's right hand or left hand, and it says it's slightly held back behind him as he's flipping his coin, trying to figure out, well, do I get to pull teeth or not? You know, Jay Lee, Jay Lee has been one of those artists that I've loved so ever since he joined the ranks of Image Comics with his Hellshock series. And what's up, Fundamaster? Welcome to the show. And it's Jay Lee or Jia Lee. I can't remember how you want to say it, but he's another Lee, like Stan Lee or um, Jim Lee, you know. And but his work is phenomenal. I've loved his stuff. It's a cross between Bill Sizwick and right here. This is my business. I'm an illustrator. This is the stuff that I do right here. You have stumbled across 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. Me being Monty Anderson. Thank you. And his work is a cross between Bill Sizwick and, let's say, I'm trying to think of another artist that, a Tony Daniel, you know? You're not going to sell us on a product. I'm sorry, Funmaster. But drop shipping, yes, we've all heard of drop shipping. And so it's a very unique style. Hellshot comic series out there. Um, I've got his autograph on several covers. I've got his runs. I even possibly have his. Um, we do drop shipping, and we do lots of cool. He does lots of cool stuff when it comes to how he pulls everything together because he did a huge run in Namor in the Marvel series, Namor, Prince Namor, the Savage. You know, you have that peanut butter and jelly. Well, I'm sure Roy does too with his Miracle Whip. He mixes that all together. So, and I have my V8 energy drink, peach mango, the best flavor out there. Peach mango, V8 energy. You need to be my sponsor, right there. Cool. You can spend that money on me with my artwork. And you too can get pieces like this. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So, with all of that, so Jolly or Jay Lee, however you want to say his name, very, very awesome style. You should look him up. You can send me a message. I'll listen to what you have to say, but there's no guarantees because I don't sign up to stuff. So that's why I have my business. But yeah, you can send me a message, all that good stuff. Ballerina, welcome to the show. How are you doing today? I got to grab another drink. So chat amongst yourselves for just a moment. I'm just going to pull two just because it's probably going to be that kind of day. All right. Well, cool. That's awesome for you. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Ballerina. You and Casey, David Casey, who's not here right now, are both down in your backs, which sucks because back problems are an issue. And they're no bueno. They're no fun at all. And so I feel for you. I've been there. It's been a long time. I do get a few catches in my back just because of my age. You know, my age is showing. You know, all that good stuff. But um, yeah, I feel for you. Ouch, that's horrible. Cool. I'm glad you did, Crump. Go kill it out there when it comes to your artwork. Need to go lay down, but I'm that uncomfortable. Yeah, I get that. You can get to the point where laying down hurts worse than moving around. Because for me, whenever I start getting aches and pains and I lay down, it makes it 10 times worse. Um, so, and I would never drive a Ferrari. Just saying. Well, cool. Hopefully, it's nothing serious that she did, but if she did. But yeah, no, I have to force myself. Even when I'm sick, I have to force myself to get up and do stuff um, because otherwise, my body just locks up, and it's not fun. It's not a happy place. It does not make for a happy artist, you know. So that's where the dark arts come in, and because that's my mood. And this is why we have the title "How Not to Social Media." Okay, I want to have to see that police report. Hijacking a truck of avocados. Roy, are you still here? Hopefully, I'll get to ride on the bike with a buddy this weekend. I think it'll help. Yeah, it should help. Um, I've got to still tear my bike apart. We got to tear her car apart first again. Um, just because the we got a popping sound after we put it all back together with the tie rods, and so now she's got a popping sound. So we got to look at the tie rods and check things out to make sure that we got everything tight under there. And then I've got to tear my bike apart, which is that 78 Goldwing GL 1000, and because the carburetor is leaking gas, so I've got to put a seal on it apparently. Because the person did work on it before we bought the bike, and um, I just don't think he did everything correctly. Especially whenever your carburetor is leaking gas, whenever you start it up, you know. My tens machine needs new wires. It's not acting right, even with the new battery. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, there's still several things that I got to do on mine. I'm debating on putting the shield back on, um, because it does have the front blast shield, if you will, to keep the bugs off, and the little windshield on it. Debated putting that back on because it's not the same color as the bike, which is a purplish color. It's a more of a burgundy, if you will. So I'm just fucking around. I'm a big fat. I'm not gonna say that. Working a manual labor job, I drive a 30-year-old Isuzu. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, and I get that. That's what social media is for. You know, people live lavish in social media world. You know, and I get it, and I was just going to let you roll with it. I mean, you could have continued to tell us that Bruce Wayne and you were best friends, and especially here during hurricane season with the love bugs, aka hurricane bugs. Blah. Yeah, I get that. Um, it's just like here, like I was showing before you guys got on. This was, and I'm from Oklahoma originally, living here. Too early for a clean joke. This is the temperatures as of the past couple days in Oklahoma. It went from being 6 degrees. Yeah, eating them. No, it's 62 here right now. It was 90 degrees yesterday. So this was the temperatures in Oklahoma as of 4 days apart, and it went from 6 degrees to 95 degrees with the record high as of March. So you know we're not going to talk about climate change and all that stuff. Same here. We were in the 30s, then back to the 80s. Yeah, and that's what it did here because we dropped down into the 20s, and then the very next day we were in the 90s. And it's just like bipolar weather. I get it, and many parts of the country get it, especially if you live in the central hub of the world. Um, and now, if you're more up north, you're still in those lower temperatures. And I get it. Like where Casey is, you know. I don't know. What do you call a Chihuahua in quicksand? A Quattro Cinco. Very good. Very good dad jokes. Awesome. We like dad jokes around here. Makes us break out our small cutlery. Bum bum bum. Damascus steel. Very sharp. Dun, dun, dun. Cleaver on that note. Let's put it in there the right way. And then we've got the kukri right here. Dun dun dun. Put them on your keychain and go to town. You're always packing some heat. Of course, mine's a 1911 that I packed. So, and then of course the cleaver. I think this is no, this is the I can't remember which one this one's called, but it's very cool stuff. Yes, these were bought on the TikTok shop. I'm pretty sure to keep TikTok relevant. You know. Oh, what did I miss right there? I mean, I'm glad we got dad jokes because they're clean most of the time. Do you know why you should never date a woman who is cross-eyed? Because she might be seeing someone on the side. LOL. Oh, yes, yes. Probably more than one person on the side, actually. All right, so now You've already seen these two right here and right here. Bum, bum, bum. This one's getting close to completion. Going to be adding the black right there. And then this one will get started up with the acrylics. While I'm also working on a huge 18 by 24 inch uh, project for God of War for someone. Ruger. Not the nickel silver style, but it's close. It's a 45. All right, so this coming up weekend, the 29th, I will be in Ozark, Arkansas, inking this piece live in front of a live audience of people coming to see the book that I did the cover for with James Bishop, who wrote the book. Awesome. That's a good one. And so I'll be inking this one live at the show, at the where's it at? I was gonna say convention center, but I know that's wrong. Get the receipts out of the way. Ozark Community Center on the 29th, 2 to 4 p.m. It is still potluck right there. So that's my book cover for Sour Worlds, Calamides. Right there. He does have the books in hand. I will be getting my comp books as well. So that book is on Amazon right now. And I just lost my spit cover. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, little buddy? There you are. All right. So I'm looking forward to that one. Um, because we got another. This is an ongoing series, and so all of my covers will be done in such a way that they all hook together because of the vine work from his characters that he's got created in this. It's a horror anthology series that he's got going on, different horror stories running throughout this book. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the continuous work of creating some novel covers for books. And then there's another one out there for Larry Donald that I did the cover for his children's book, telling his life story through um, Ori, Ori is the character's name. It is a snow leopard that he's portrayed himself as, and it's his boxing career that he's showing and depicting all the struggles therein. And I think he's going to do a 3-part book series with this. He's starting it out as a chapter book, but it is on Amazon as well. So that's 2 books that I've done the artwork for that are on Amazon right now that you can pick up. Uh, his book, Sour Worlds, is actually taken off on Amazon right now. It is in some top seller list right now. So that's pretty cool to have my name attached to that and for it to be taking off. So that's exciting. Just like Mr. James Stokes, who's going to be at the Fort Smith Comic Con this year. Um, he signed this piece for me right here a while back. This is him as Jason, and then him as himself over here. And we all know the story on this one. Those of you that have been here long enough, this is a memorial piece commission that the person hasn't paid for yet. It's been 3 months as of today with no payment, and I'm done working on it until I get payment. So this was for a friend of ours that passed away on December 31st, the very last day of December, right before the new year. And she was a cool egg, and unfortunately, she passed away. And so he wanted to do a memorial piece to hang in the office to remind people of her, but yet, and he's the manager, and he still hasn't paid. So that one's done for a minute until he starts paying. Then we got this one, which is me as Wolverine, right here. Bum, bum, bum. Done in the Wolverine #1 style. And if you don't know what that is, go look it up. John Buscema, I think, did some work in that one. And then, of course, the inking is going to be happening on the Batman Who Laughs after my type pencils that I've finished with. And now I can start the inking process. Just like I'm going to go in here and do some more type pencil work on this one so I know where not to fuck up, if you will, on the Harley Who Laughs, which I didn't know existed until this year. And she's been in existence since 2022, which I did not know. And this is her second mask showing her forked tongue, all that goody good stuff. Again, I'll be doing some more tight pencil work on this one so I don't fuck up my lines. And then, of course, my horror series kicked off with Ghostface. This is my new horror series. Kicked off with Ghostface. They all are going to have this blood splatter that goes around the edge. It's going to look really cool on a t-shirt. This is number 1. Freddy Krueger was number 2. Jason Voorhees, number 3. I did this one on Friday the 13th of this year, of this month, because this is number 2 of the 4 in the month, or in the year. All right, and so then my next one is going to be Pumpkinhead, and then the next one after that is going to be Candyman. So that's the next ones in there, and then I've got a whole list of other ones that I'm going to be adding into it, just like Chucky again, because I've already done several of these characters except for Ghostface. I haven't done Pumpkinhead or Candyman before, so though I'm excited to get into those and all of that good stuff. Now that we're 48 minutes into the show, Roy's already fallen asleep in his mayo, in his Miracle Whip. How not to social media. All right, so we all see posts that we disagree with. We all see posts that we agree with. Do you always have to comment on all the posts that you see? That's a question. Because I see it a lot. There's a lot of posts that I don't agree with that I see as I scroll mindlessly through Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, those places that I frequent the most. And there's stuff that I don't agree with, that I don't care to be a part of, even though I'm friends with this person or whatever. And if I don't agree with it, I read it, look it over, scroll on by. I don't have to leave my 2 cents on it. But everybody feels like they need to leave their 2 cents on a post and start some shit where no shit needs to be started. That's why we don't talk about politics and religion on my platform. We talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic books, my paintings, my merchandise. That's the stuff we talk about here. We talk about the fun, cool stuff. And sometimes we have to get into heavy topics like the loss of someone or things like that. Um, because if you've seen any of my platforms or any of my shows ever, I talk about my 3 losses from 2008, 2009, and 2010, less than a year apart. My sister, 2008, killed by a drunk driver. My son, 2009, uh, ATV accident. And then 2010, my grandfather of old age. He was 90 years old. He was still young. And so that's my 3 losses back to back. So sometimes we get into those heavy topics like that. But some people just don't know how to keep their mouth shut on social media. And it's just like, why do you have to start shit on social media when you could have just skipped by what was being said or what that person was talking about? You didn't have to unfriend them. You didn't have to block them. All you had to do was scroll on by. And it's just like, but so many people have to stop and be like, no, I got to put my 2 cents in because, you know, I got to start shit. Yeah, let's do it because I'm a keyboard warrior. And we've had people like that on the show where they have popped on and tried to start shit on the show. and they immediately get blocked and reported because the stuff they're spitting out there just isn't cool. And we're not gonna tolerate it. And more people need to just not social media sometimes. Because why do you want to start shit from behind your keyboard? Why why don't more people have that boldness when they see somebody else on the street and they don't agree with that person? Why don't they walk up to them and be like, "Hey, this is what I would have put on your social media post," you know, but I'm looking you face in face, and I can't do it. I can't put what I was going to put. I can't tell you straight to your face with what I was going to put, behind my keyboard, you know. And I just don't understand it sometimes. Cuz like I said, I see a lot of posts, especially on the artist side, that I don't agree with, period. And again, you're alienating about 50% of your clientele or more sometimes, depending on what you post. And that, again, that's why we don't talk about politics. That's why we don't talk about religion here. And I know if you want to talk about those things, there's plenty of platforms out there right now live that are talking about them. If you want to go talk religion, there's several of them out there that are talking about it right now. Probably like 1,000 or more that are out there right now talking about it. If you want to talk about politics, there's probably 1 million out there talking about politics right now. But here, again, we talk about the cool, fun stuff. Even if we disagree on the horror movies or the sci-fi movies or the comic book artwork, or even if you don't like my work, I don't give a shit. You know, you're on my platform. You're going to respect the platform. And as soon as you start acting a fool, peace out. Bye. We don't need you. And now I act enough of as a fool on my own show, you know, but that's just me. Go watch any of my broadcasts. They're out there for public consumption. And I act a fool on a regular basis, you know. I sometimes throw my voice acting career in here as well by throwing different voices at you and things of that nature. But, and it doesn't always happen because sometimes the situation does not require a different voice, those type things. And yes, I am an actor. Yes, I'm a voice actor. Yes, I'm an illustrator. And we talk about all kinds of cool stuff here. So if you are into cool stuff, you're in the right place. And I'm glad you found us because we do come on at 4:12 or try to come on at 4:12 a.m. every day, or not every day, every other day. So right now, all the odd days is how it's lining up. And once April hits, we'll be on the even days because that's how it's going to fall. The last odd day is the 31st, which means the first I will not be on because we're on every other day. So that means the 31st to the 1st, then it jumps to the 2nd, is when we'll be on for April, which means we'll be on the even side of things until it changes again. So just we are on every other day. We're not on every day like some people. And I've done every day before, and eh, it's okay. It's all right. But I've got better things to do with my time. My therapy sessions, artwork, and my homestead. Because I'm an illustrator, I'm a disabled veteran, and I do homesteading as well, which means I've got chickens, ducks, geese, pigs, dogs, cats, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, all that good stuff. Just kidding about the lions, tigers, and bears. But anyway, so we have lots of fun here on a regular basis just because we deal with so many different aspects of life here, and the gym is included in that now. We've been going back to the gym for 11 weeks now, so which is a huge stretch, because from not going to the gym to starting back in the gym, it's a big stretch. It's a big leap. just because getting fat and lazy, you know. And so the morning times is carved out for my artwork. The morning times is carved out for my social media segments too. And that's where I can choose to participate in someone's BS on their page, or I can choose to scroll past what they wrote, you know? And that's what I do a lot. Um, because it's just like an artist, Rags Morales, um, has got a huge debate going on his art page right now, which again, he just alienated probably like 80% of his fan base by what he posted. But that's him, you know? He's going to be okay. It's Rags Morales. I got a piece of his right here from 2024 when I met him at, which one was that? It was a Texas show. I'm trying to remember which one it was. So I did two Texas shows in 2024, the Space Con, and there was another one I did, and it could have been Space Con that I met him at. And I've got a cool Hawkman print that he did. You know, I'm not going to destroy it because of what he posted on social media, because that's him. That's him. You know, if he wants to post that type of stuff on social media, go for it. You know, he's a big boy, and he does what he can do what he wants, just like I can do what I want on my platforms. You know, um, but I choose not to post certain things because do I want the headache of trying to fight with someone over social media? No. I've got enough stressors in my life that I don't need that added bullshit to my life. And it's just like I saw another artist talk about how they were done talking about AI artwork. Um, because, in my opinion, I think they were called out one too many times over what they were calling AI artwork. And if you actually go to the person's page they were talking about, you see them actually physically doing the work on their piece, you know, and you're watching it come alive. Just like if you watch the journey of this one, I had eyes on this one before, you know, and I took the eyes out because they didn't match up with where the painting went. So I will put the eyes back in once I get to that point. And everything evolves. People evolve. Music evolves, sometimes for the worse, because there's a lot of bands that once they get in contract, the record label's like, we've got to move you this direction. And the band is like, okay, we're getting paid by you. Okay. And so their music changes. And sometimes it's just horrible after that. Just like my girlfriend loved Ghost in the beginning. She can't stand them now. Just like she enjoyed Hollywood Undead. Can't stand them now. Number one, because the lead singer left. And then they just changed their style up once they got the new lead singer. And same with Ghost. Once they got into the mainstream, I can only assume, which makes an ass out of me and whoever else, um, that their record label is like, okay, we got to do this, and so their style changed. If you listen to just albums apart, the style is different. And then Sleep Token, I just can't get behind Sleep Token. I've tried, and they call it heavy metal, new metal, or whatever the fuck it's called. I, I've tried it. I've listened to several of the songs. I just can't get into it. And then the AI generated musicians out there, shit. And you can defend AI all you want to, but I'm not an AI fan. I never will be. I don't have it turned on my phone. I don't have it turned on my computers. Um, Unfortunately, it's on my uh, browsing because, like Google or Bing, they have those turned on in there, and I haven't figured out a way to turn it off yet, but I will. Just like I don't use the new Adobe products, I've still got CS4. You know how old of a generation that is, you know, to have on your computer? Because why? All the new shit for Adobe has AI technology in it. I won't use it, and it's cloud based. I don't want to pay a subscription for a service that used to come on a disc. Yeah, it used to cost $1,200 for the disc because it was the most powerful one out there. And now you can find an app for everything, you know. And I will never use AI generated stuff, you know. Now, not saying that other people can't or won't, because I see a lot of people that justify why they're using their AI stuff to get their thoughts together on different aspects of their writing or their artwork or this, that, or the other. And I just can't justify it. There's no heart and soul when it comes to AI. And, that's a big debate because you've got the people that are like hating AI because solely because of what it's supposedly doing to the earth on all the resources that it's using to power the AI servers and things like that. And then you've got us artists, not just illustrators, but artists that are musicians, actors, illustrators. The list goes on and on, fabricators and things like that, 3D printers, they have their craft as well. And the cool thing about the 3D print stuff is it has to be labeled as AI produced so that anybody knows that, hey, yes, this was an AI model that was made and I used it. But if you don't divulge that information and someone finds out about it and you're at a convention or something like that, you're getting your ass booted, which is cool. I have no problems with that. I saw a person that said that this booth was kicked out at Dragon Con because they sold nothing but AI artwork, AI generated artwork, and here they are showing up at MegaCon. Well, they left them a little gift. It showed the AI with the red cross around it marked out, and it said no AI, human only. Meaning human artwork only. And so why MegaCon, especially MegaCon, who said that they were going to be kicking out anybody that did AI artwork solely, hasn't kicked this booth out yet. I don't know why they haven't, because they were one of the big proponents of no AI generated artwork, period. But yet, this person that is an artist left this little coaster sized piece right there on their artwork, on their portfolios, and was like, "Here you go. Have a nice day." And so hopefully MegaCon does end up kicking them out or kick them out. Hopefully, I don't know if they did or not, but let's hope they did because if they're going to stick to their guns, they need to stick to their guns. And that's us artists in general. We don't want our artwork stolen by someone who's creating AI prompts in an app because that's what happens. The app searches the globe when it comes to artwork, grabs what you're looking for, say Jason Voorhees. Oh, it's going to grab somebody's piece of artwork that's already done for the most part, even if it's a photograph that someone took that could be copyright, done all that good stuff, trademarked, all that type of thing. And it takes that and moves it over, and then it starts creating all this other shit that you typed in that you wanted it to look like. And that's how easy AI art is. And I've got a buddy that wants to support me, but I can't get behind what he's doing. Absolutely 100%. He just dropped his new AI logo line for his talk show. I'm not going to give his talk show out there or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, I've had my product dropped for a while. He's like, you've got product line? And I'm like, dude, I've probably had mine drop since November of last year, you know? And it's all of my artwork on a shirt. And he kind of got stopped responding at that point in time. I told him his stuff was cool, good for him, kudos, all that good stuff, but it's AI generated. And he's doing more and more AI generated stuff, which means all of his characters that he's creating for his comic book are AI generated. He is doing little mini video clips of his characters AI generated. And I just can't get behind it. AI stuff is taking over, and I get that. But I will never like it. There's some funny stuff out there and things of that nature, but that doesn't mean I'm going to, you know, move it around on my stuff on a regular basis because there's no sense in it. When I can create something, just like here, the creation process is the fun part, not typing it in and being like, okay, I'm done in 5 minutes. No, I like creating the depth. I like creating the atmosphere that's going on in this piece. Just like whenever I get to the Emma Frost, the White Queen, right here, the paint that's going to go into this one, the marker, the pencil, the depth, the dimension, all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. And you've got to have fun with this stuff. AI just takes the fun out of it. And, I heard this band, they were a rock band or more of a metalish band. And I went to their page on iTunes, if you will, Apple Music or whatever you want to call it now, and looked them up. And I saw that they had like 4 albums out in 2026. Well, we're 3 months into the year. Having 4 full albums out in 3 months, that's unheard of by any stretch of the imagination. So I got to reading their little synopsis. Bing, bing, bing. AI generated artist. That's why you got 4 albums out in 2026 already. Kudos to them. More power to them. More power to anybody that uses their AI shit. I do not have to like it. The girlfriend listens to some AI songs and stuff like that, and to me, they're horrible. Um, they sound like trash, 100%. And it's just like there was one person on TikTok that was talking about this AI artist, completely made up artist, not even a real person. But yet it's got a presence on TikTok. It's got a presence on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever they're selling their music. I can't remember the artist name right off the top of my head, but the AI generated character, this female character, does not know that they are AI generated. They're even holding up their iPhone and showing their social media. And the sad part is they've got 3 million followers out there. I can't even hit 5,000 yet. Make that make sense. Maybe I should go AI generated. But I'm still trying to get the whole hand thing that Carmen Electra's got going on because her hands are upside down back here on her waist. Yeah, you can do this portion with your waist, but the hands are upside down. That makes no sense. But anyway, because I can't do that. I can't flip my hands upside down with my pointer finger down towards the legs. Can't do it. So stop using AI. 100%. Stop using AI. All right, we're gonna have a lot of cool new artwork showing up. Again, I'm probably gonna be doing a whole new slew of horror series artwork over comic related stuff. I'm still going to be working on the comic related stuff as well. I'm going to do an Ultimate Wolverine. I'm going to do an Absolute Batman. I haven't decided if I want to do an Absolute Joker yet or not because he's kind of ridiculous looking. He is a Violator esque looking character. Um, and I can only imagine that's kind of where they took the idea from, was Violator from Spawn, the big gray character, not the clown, but the Violator itself. And that's what it looks like. I mean, that's what the Absolute Joker kind of reminds me of. And if you don't know who that is, go look him up. He's a Venom esque, Violator esque looking character, in my opinion. And I just don't know how I feel about him. So he probably won't get drawn up. They've got Absolute Poison Ivy. They got Absolute Bane. I'm not all sure who all characters they've got because I haven't looked into it that much. But I know Absolute Batman right now is one of the hottest comic books out there as we speak. So, if you try to find the first edition, first print of Absolute Batman, good luck. I know some of them are already selling for close to $500 a shot, especially if they're graded. Um, it's a little ridiculous. But I mean, I know comic books, hold their value in certain circles, but then it fluctuates a lot as well. So there you go. There you go, Pilgrim. So, but we're going to leave you with that. Know how to social media. If you don't agree with somebody's post, scroll on by. You don't have to sit on their page and write a whole novel about why you disapprove of their post. And I see it one too many times. Um, People don't like this person's opinion, so they've got to go put their opinion on that person's opinion. Well, you're never going to change someone's opinion, even if you have the facts. Because let's just put the people that look at Chuck Norris as a legendary movie icon that came from Ryan, Oklahoma. Then you've got the other aspect of people that are like, well, he was this, that, or the other because he followed this political side, so he's automatically that type of a person. Do I have to say anything on that person's post? Absolutely not. But so many people do that. They put their opinion or what they think they know about a person because of what political side of the fence they're on, and they put out their own opinion on the matter. Well, if I don't agree with it, I'll read their post, I will get upset with their post, and I'll scroll on. Do I want to say something? Absolutely. Am I going to say something? Absolutely not. Because, again, you don't have to be a dick about things. And too many people think they're well entitled to be that keyboard warrior and go do what they do on the internet. And again, we've had it happen here on the show many a times. And those people immediately got booted, reported, and their accounts disappeared. Eggshell, you're okay? That's a code word for you're not really okay. just know you don't always have to. You're hungry? Well, go get you something to eat. Fry you up some eggs. Get you some orange juice. I don't know what time it is there where you are, but it's 5:27 a.m. in the morning here. Just know that you might have options. I don't know. I don't know your situation. You could have options. You might not have options. You might have to find a feral squirrel and hunt it down, skin it, roast it over an open fire. I don't know. If I was in Alaska, that's what I'd be doing. Not saying you're in Alaska, but I've always wanted to go to Alaska just to disappear. You know, get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and live off in the wild, off grid, 100%. So there you go. Nothing happened up here with our cat balls up there that are on my haunted items, which is Diego right here with the golden slippers, Maribel back there, and the Dybbuk box, but it's on top of the dice, which is right there. I gotta look at my camera right there. And none of those went off today during the show, which is kind of sad. I was hoping they were gonna act out for you, act a fool for you, but they did not, or at least I didn't see them set off. But they are haunted items. Diego is a haunted spirit inside of the Jester doll. Maribel, they say she moves on her own if you do not pay her attention. And then the Dybbuk box, they say you hear scratches from the inside, which I have not heard yet. But again, they did not completely seal the box either. So, did the item stay with the person who sold it? Or did it escape as soon as I opened the box here in the house? The world may never know. But that's how we're going to leave it today, folks. Don't be a dick on social media. If you don't agree with somebody's post, just move on. You don't always have to comment on somebody's post that you don't agree with. Religious, political, artwork, music, all that good stuff. We all have our opinions. We all think what we think. Some people cannot be changed, even with facts. So just move along. Don't argue with somebody over their own post. You all have a great day. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.